I mean, unfortunately, we knew it was going to be a little messy, but it's just something we felt important that had to be done, that should be done. So, but like I said, yeah.
The manpower was just very stressed and critical to the point of almost...
Hold on tight, everyone, because we're going to go into one of the most scandalous stories that is affecting a little Illinois town today. That's right, we're talking about the drama that is taking place in Dalton, where the super mayor, being embroiled in a scandal that could bring down her entire empire. Tiffany Henyard is a prime example of political power struggles. Let's dive straight in after financial scandals and even federal prosecutions.
Pay everybody is the reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is.
What was it for?
It was for shirts. That's what it's for.
Picture this tight meeting room with a lot of resentment and rage in the air. Mayor Tiffany Henyard, renowned for her daring fashion sense and even more daring assertions that she is the most powerful woman on Chicago's South Side, is once again on the hot seat. She lashes out at her board of trustees, saying, "Stop causing chaos. You don't stand for me, and I want you to step down." She is furious and isn't holding back, and it's obvious that she won't quit easily.
Motion to terminate Chief Free.
What's behind all this fury? It all began with a push for financial transparency, a demand Mayor Henyard wasn't eager to meet. The board had just passed a motion requiring. In order to set the setting for a confrontation, the village decided to open its financial documents, but Henyard swiftly overruled this decision.
Deep debt, and that is the finding of an investigation of village finances and the spending habits of beleaguered Mayor Tiffany.
But wait, for this narrative takes an even more interesting turn. L.S. Lacey Dalston, the chief of police and one of Henyard's closest allies, is involved in the following twist. If you didn't think things could get much more dramatic, consider this. Lacey has been charged with federal offenses, and we're not talking about infractions. This man is in serious trouble, people. He is committing bankruptcy fraud, making false statements, and committing perjury. According to the indictment, Lacey concealed assets and lied under oath to avoid a $440,000 lawsuit settlement. If found guilty, he could spend up to 45 years in prison.
He's absolutely not guilty of all 9 counts. I believe he's cooperating. And if you cooperate, you have to admit you're guilty.
What makes this such a huge issue, then, is that Lacey isn't just any police chief. He's been one of Henyard's most devoted foot soldiers, supposedly conducting her dirty job for years. The main concern of everyone is whether Lacey will flip and turn on Henyard in order to save himself. Could be the last straw for the self-styled super mayor. Let's examine what this indictment actually means. First, it's not just about Lacey's alleged crimes. Perjury and bankruptcy fraud are serious charges. But this isn't just about one man attempting to avoid debt. Rather, it's about the government. Potential for a corrupt system to fall, it is said that Henyard has surrounded herself with people, and if Lacey speaks, he may reveal anything from reportedly extorting local businesses to transforming the Dalton Police Department into her personal security force.
Legal appointment, that's what the trustees I talked to are calling this. They say the news took them by surprise, and now they're talking to legal counsel to figure out their next.
Speaking of abuse of authority, let's discuss Henyard's contentious use of the police. Under her direction, the Dalton Police Department Southeast appears to have become a private army that is allegedly engaged in everything from threatening political rivals to destroying small businesses. According to former Dalton Police Chief Robert Collins, things got so bad that officers were removed from their regular responsibilities like, battling crime in order to protect Henyard's personal safety. Collins didn't mince words when he described how the mayor's demands for personal security were so taxing on his department that it was on the verge of collapsing. He claimed that we desperately needed these officers on the streets fighting crime, but instead they were given the responsibility of driving the mayor around. This is wrong, and someone needs to be held accountable. Risk of financial collapse, it turns out that Henyard has been misusing taxpayer funds. According to her personal piggy bank reports, she has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on lavish vacations and a private ice skating rink, all of which were paid for with village credit cards. Not to mention the $33,000 she allegedly spent on Amazon in a single day. What was she purchasing and why?
a one day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon. And the main thing,
These costs, together with claims of pay-to-play methods that purportedly required nearby businesses to donate to her charity in order to remain open, portray a damning picture of a leader who's more concerned with living big than truly helping her town. But here's where it gets quite juicy. After orbiting Henyard for a while, the FBI may finally bring her down with Lacey's indictment. Federal subpoenas have already begun attacking the Henyard's administration and seeking all employment-related benefits. Documents for financial statements that include Lacey are currently facing a lengthy jail sentence, and sources are suggesting that he may reach an agreement with prosecutors. If that occurs, Henyard may soon be the target of a full-scale federal probe.
Wrong is wrong, and there's a time to hold people responsible and accountable for.
In all honesty, Lacey is not alone in feeling the heat. According to rumors, several other members of Henyard's inner circle are already screaming like canaries and revealing secrets everywhere in an effort to escape being indicted themselves. Former top aide Keith Freeman Henyard's, who was recently accused of, you guessed it, bankruptcy fraud, is one of these possible turncoats. One of Henyard's closest allies appears to be working with trustees looking into his spending and leadership practices, and if he's willing to talk, who knows what kind of dirt he might have on his former boss. But let's go back to the financial mess that Dalton has become under Henyard's leadership. As we mentioned earlier, the village is in the red, and it's not just a small deficit. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was hired as a Dalton's financial situation was examined by a special investigator who revealed shocking facts. In April 2022, the village had a $561 million surplus. By May 2024, it had a stunning deficit of $365 million, which is a roughly $9 million swing in only 2 years. Where has all that money gone?
The reasons I won't know when we go through our board packets, it's like, some of this stuff, it's like you don't know exactly what it's for, and then when you ask the question.
In addition to the thousands of extravagant purchases made at Target, Walgreens, Wayfair, and the infamous Amazon shopping spree, Lightfoot's analysis revealed that more than $6 million in checks have been issued, but never sent to vendors, leaving the village's financial obligations in disarray. As a result, not only is Dalton heavily indebted, but it also has a mountain of unpaid bills that it cannot afford to pay. Talk about a mess. If you think Henyard's financial mismanagement is shocking, wait until you hear how she is handling these accusations rather than confront the truth or try to put things right. Henyard has intensified her claims that she is the target of a smear campaign by her political rivals. In fact, she has reinstated her discredited deputy chief, Louis Lacey, in spite of the federal accusations against him. People think Henyard is supporting her man despite the fact that he faces almost 50 years in prison. But why would she do that? Some insiders think it's all about control. By keeping Lacey in his position, Henyard may be attempting to convey to those in her administration, remain faithful, and I'll safeguard you. But if Lacey chooses to assist investigators, that loyalty might vanish more quickly than Dalton's financial reserves. They knew exactly what they were doing and believed they could get away with it. Speaking of, due to Henyard's activities, many people in Dalton feel unfaithful. After Yard slammed down their resolution to look into her suspected misuse of taxpayer funds, 4 trustees left a recent board meeting after being betrayed because the situation became so hot. However, it's not just the trustees that are fed. During the meeting, a resident yelled, "You're the worst mayor in America." I agree, but let's not forget the personal scandals that have only added more fuel to the fire. Henyard. Local residents are also making their voices heard, demanding accountability and calling for Henyard's resignation. It's currently facing a number of accusations, including a harassment and retaliation complaint from a former worker who says she was fired after reporting being attacked on a business trip. Henyard denies any wrongdoing, but the charge's very existence raises major questions about her. Both judgment and leadership, you would think that with everything going on around her, Henyard would want to keep quiet for a time, but she has been avoiding interviews and questions from the media rather than answering them. In fact, following the release of Lightfoot's standing report, Henyard was nowhere to be seen. Her office declined to respond, and she failed to appear at Village Hall, giving the impression that she is attempting to vanish. However, with the FBI on her tail, this may not be an option for much longer. The fate of Dalton and its troubled mayor now hangs in the balance. Will Lacey change her mind and reveal all of Henyard's secrets? Will the FBI be involved? That is the million-dollar question. In a community that has long been afflicted by corruption and poor administration, will the investigation ultimately deliver justice? Or will Henyard somehow avoid the repercussions of her acts as she has so frequently done in the past?